Hello again. Welcome to the Newburyport Documentary Film Festival. I am Program Director James Sullivan, and we are pretty thrilled to be rolling out information about the films that we're going to be showing at the film festival, this year's film festival, September 15th through the 17th, which is just a brief 3 weeks or so away at this point. And so with us today, we have the filmmaker behind Brief Tender Light, which is, drum roll please, a world premiere in Newburyport. Arthur Musah is the director of Brief Tender Light. Welcome, Arthur.
Thank you so much, James. It's an honor to be premiering at Newburyport.
Yeah, we're really thrilled that your film, your sweet and thoughtful film, is premiering here. And I should mention that I think we must have found this out after, determining that we were going to be showing your film. You already have, you haven't even screened it anywhere yet. You're going to be showing on PBS's documentary series POV after the first of the year. So we're pretty thrilled to be hosting the first look at this film that the rest of the world is going to get to see in just a few months. So congratulations on all of that. And we look forward to having you come up here. Do you want to begin, for the sake of someone who's just tuning into this, who hasn't yet read a synopsis of the film? Just tell us the brief premise of the film and how it came to be made.
Sure. The film Brief Tender Light is me following four ambitious African students from different parts of the continent, the African continent, as they arrive and go through the American college experience at MIT.
Right.
And they want to make that opportunity count for the places that they're from. They have big ambitions for what to do with that journey back home. But as they grow up, can that youthful idealism, survive the process of growing up? What happens with those dreams? That's what the film is about.
And you had preceded them on the same path by how many years?
That's correct. So I had preceded them by 10 years or 11 years. Yeah. So I actually am from Ghana in West Africa, and I came to the US to attend MIT myself about 11 years before them. And having graduated and then not really returned to Ghana, and having all these conversations with other Africans and other international students that I've met in my years in the US, I felt like I really wanted to explore that experience of kind of going abroad to study and being transformed by that experience. Your identity itself gets transformed. So it's inspired by my own journey as well.
Right. And what's really impressive about your film, I'm sure you've heard this from others who have gotten a chance to screen it in these early days, but you obviously follow the four students pretty closely. You follow them home and back at MIT, back and forth. But you also managed to weave in your own story and your own sort of what you just described, your reason for wanting to make this film, and sort of having, sort of reflecting on your own experience doing the same thing, coming over to America to study, and then whether you felt like you were able to then turn that into a contribution back home or not. And that's not always easy to do. I think a lot of documentary films, when the filmmaker, and I'm a journalist, so we're taught to not stick ourselves in the middle of the story, right? And it happens often enough in documentary film, but I've been doing this long enough to know that it doesn't always work in documentary films. Did you feel like, did you need to be coaxed to put your own story on camera to the extent that you did, or was that always part of the idea?
It was not always part of the idea, actually. At the very beginning, when we started filming in 2011, so quite a few years ago, I really thought the film would be, I wanted to be a fly on the wall, kind of observing their lives.
Exactly.
And, then we shot the film, and there were always moments where the film participants would kind of break the fourth wall, like have a conversation with me. I mean, I think that probably always happens
right.
on films, but that ends up on the cutting room floor, so to speak. And it was in the iterations of editing that at some point I realized that in some ways, I needed to be as vulnerable as the four people that I was following,
Mm,
as they had been with me on
mm,
camera through the years that we had filmed. And there were also events in my country, Ghana, that kind of helped clarify what my story, what my role as a participant in the documentary could be. In a
mhm.
way, once that clicked, it made sense to weave myself into the film with my editor, and to embrace those moments that were always kind of interesting, those messy bits when we were
Yep.
having a conversation with a
Messy
public
bits.
member.
Exactly right. Did you come to that realization yourself, or did somebody else, sort of a trusted confidant who was watching footage with you say, you need more of yourself in here, Arthur, to put their story into context, that this is why you're making this film, because
Yeah,
it's, you know,
yeah. I think it had been suggested by multiple, trusted confidants. We had quite a few editors. The film was finished by Kelly Creedon, the last editor on the film, and I think in the edit conversations with the various teams that we worked with over the years, and with my producer and partner Brooke, and other mentors that had seen different versions of the film, that suggestion had been made, had been discussed, and I think I resisted it because I didn't see what the value of it was. So I think it was only until 2021 that it finally clicked
mm,
what my role in the film would be, and
mm,
then it was kind of obvious at that point
right.
to me why I should be in it.
Let's take a quick look at the trailer.
I just got admitted into the best engineering institution in the whole world.
When I got the letter, I would never forget it.
Those three letters, MIT, they mean a lot to people. People expect things from you.
I think MIT will take me to the next big thing.
20 years ago, I too had been chosen from Ghana and West Africa to study at the famous MIT.
What are you going to gain from MIT? What are you planning on bringing back?
On the math skills, math knowledge.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I see no reason why I shouldn't, live up to the expectations of my people back home.
When they look at me, what do they think I look like? And then they said I look African American. I want to represent my country. I can't keep on wearing Tanzania shirts all the time.
You're discovering who you are if you don't know yourself already. Why are you working on the film?
MIT taught me things about the world and about myself that led me far from home.
I don't really know how it happens, but you just notice certain changes about yourself.
My first snow experience. Snow!
I have really high expectations of my experience here.
If I'm not good in physics, then how am I going to be an engineer? Maybe this is not the right place for me.
One thing I've been struggling with, am I ever going to feel at home in the U.S.?
Time is a tool. It gently molds you to a place.
If I see people speaking up, I will go and speak up.
Justice! Now!
You have a responsibility to help your country.
The fear of what awaits me in the world. I don't know what's ahead of me.
This drive of wanting to help or wanting to impact other people's lives is something that's been there for me since I was very young.
We have to pave our own way, and I am scared of my dreams because they're bigger than me and they're vast.
Arthur, it just occurred to me that your film, it's an hour and a half long, it's 90 minutes long. Is POV expecting you to cut it down to an hour or not?
No, it's going to be an 82-minute feature on PBS broadcast.
Yeah, because I know that some of the PBS documentary series expect you to fit into their boxes,
Right.
and it would be a real shame if you somehow had to find a half an hour out of that hour and a half that you had to cut. So I'm glad to hear that that's not the case.
Right. No, our editor Kelly did an amazing job of cutting it down to 82 minutes. It doesn't feel like we lost anything critical for the POV version.
Oh, but so we here in Newburyport are going to get the full 92 minutes or whatever it is.
You're going to have the special treat. Yes.
Um, last question for you for today. You went to MIT like a lot of others. What were you studying? What were you originally studying, or what did you study?
I studied electrical engineering and computer
Electrical.
science. Yeah, but I always did writing. I actually had a minor in creative writing.
Yeah, that's the question. So you went to MIT like a lot of folks do for a practical science, to
Right.
learn a practical science, and now you're a storyteller. And you say this in the film, which is why I'm asking. You said, I really loved my writing classes, and now you're a storyteller using film. So that's a surprise left turn for you, right?
Yeah, I guess I don't know if it's similar in the U.S., but in Ghana, where I grew up, I think if you can do the math and science, that comes easily to you. You're encouraged to kind of go into the engineering, become a doctor and all of that. And so I feel like there was this kind of coaching to kind of go into those paths. But I'd always loved the arts. I always did theater in high school, and at MIT, actually, my favorite classes were my writing classes. Those were the professors that I made the deepest bonds with, and I'm still in touch with them. And some of them have been mentors through the process of making this film. Helen, Elaine Lee, Erica Funkhauser,
Oh yeah.
Juno Diaz, all of those mentors have, we've kept in touch. So yeah, it's always been there, and I guess it just took a while to see the path to actually,
well, it
do
seems
something at a professional level with it.
Yeah, it seems pretty clear from this first effort, which seems amazing, that this is what you were meant to do, tell stories like this. So we look forward to seeing what the next one is. But in the meantime, we look forward to presenting this one to our audience in just a couple of weeks. And we really thank you for taking the time to talk to us a little bit about it today.
Thank you so much, James. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. We would just like to take a quick moment to thank our sponsors, and we'll see you next time with another sneak preview of another one of our films.